There are a number of different techniques that can be used to help relieve the tension from the body in the case of an accident or an injury. Okay. One of them I'll share with you. We have a lot of these techniques in my book, Instant Healing. But one of them is what we call, we have various names for it. One of them is called the repetition technique. Another name is the mind blower technique, because it doesn't look like it should work, and it does. Let's suppose that I'm building a fence and I have a hammer, and I happen to smash my thumb with my hammer. Now, the traditional method of dealing with this is to drop the hammer, grab the thumb, jump up and down the screen. That actually takes your mind off the pain a little bit. The much better way is keep holding the hammer. As soon as you can, after you smash the thumb, repeat the action without touching the thumb. That part's very important. You go over and over and over again in as much as you can, the same position toward the thumb without touching it. Now, the first thing that will start to happen, how many times varies with the individual, but you do it until the pain goes away, which is the first thing to happen. It usually very fast. Now, if you've done it quickly enough, then there will be no swelling, no black and blue, and your thumb will be fine, no matter how hard you smashed. But you got to be real quick with that. Sometimes, if you're not quite quick enough, there's two factors. One, if you're not quite quick enough, and a little soreness and a little black and blue might be there, but nothing like what you'd expect. But the main critical factor is what you're thinking about. In order to make this most effective, you do not keep remembering the hit. I mean, not only do you not want to physically hit, you do not want to keep remembering it. When people go over and over in their mind with what just happened, they're recreating all the tension, and that's what causes the ongoing pain and the swelling and the black and blue. So somebody devised this, and it works for most people, is that while you're repeating the action, you're shouting, nothing happened. And the purpose of that is to keep your mind off the memory. Doesn't matter what you shout, as long as you keep your mind off the memory. So if you do that, going back and forth over and over and over like that, there'll be no swelling, usually no soreness. Pain is the first thing to go. Now this is for any kind of injury. Sometimes you'll have to do a symbolic movement, and it will still work. One woman helped a man who had fallen in the water skiing, and the ski slashed his forehead. And she dove in and lifted him up, and he was in a daze, which probably would help. And she took her hand, acting as if it were the ski, and brought it towards his forehead over and over again. And she just did that as long as she could. She didn't know what he was feeling until a boat came around and picked him up. In that particular case, she's the one who started who developed the nothing happened, because she shouted to him, trying to make a connection. And they took him into shore, wiped the blood off his forehead, and there was no cut. Because the body can heal itself that fast when there's no tension. It's tension that maintains pain, that maintains the swelling, that maintains the problem. That's why we put so much emphasis. But for accidents and injuries, that's one of the best techniques there is. Okay. Yes?
How long after an accident can that technique work?
That's a good question, too. Actually, at any time. Because the accident doesn't exist anymore. Only the memory does. And you can always work on the memory. So if the memory is still holding that tension, And so you've got pain or you've got some symptom. An example was a woman who had a burn. She was wearing shorts when she got off a motorcycle. And of course, severe burn on the inside of her leg. And it became what's called a weeping wound. It would never heal. She put ointments and all kinds of things on it. Didn't work. 3 weeks later, after she had just learned what I've just taught, she used her imagination in conjunction with her body. So she stood as if she was on the motorcycle. And what had happened originally was when she got off the motorcycle, the leg brushed the manifold, which was very hot. So in her imagination and moving her body to fit that, she got off the motorcycle without touching the manifold. And she did that over and over and over again. She told me she did that 40 times in a row. Now she looked down and she didn't see any difference. Now, she had had this for 3 weeks, this wound, this open wound, with no change. 3 days later, it healed itself. So she had relieved enough of the tension, by even using her imagination, that the body was able to start the healing process. So yeah, theoretically, if you got a good imagination, it doesn't matter when. I remember somebody was in an accident and had a sore shoulder. They'd had it for 9 months. And we did a different technique, one that's in the blue book there. And all the pain was gone for the first time in 9 months. When they went to sat down in the audience, a friend came up and told me later, the friend was looking at the person and watched the shoulder go back, slip back into its socket all by itself with no pain. Right there. So the body has tremendous capability. What we need to do is learn how it works and do the things that help the body do what it knows how to do. And there's very little of this done today, but we're trying to spread it around. Yeah. All of these kinds of things that I'm talking about are working with known physiology. There's nothing esoteric about these. We have esoteric techniques too, if you like, but these are straight physiological techniques, just working with the body in ways that are a little unusual.